Hello, my people. It is your boy Toyin. I'm back again with another video. If you're new here, this series is called Building DanceBuddy, where I'm building a mobile application for dancers using Flutter, and I'm documenting my whole journey doing it. So that's from the beginning, conceptualization, to the point where we're at now, building the application and potentially building out a fully fledged app or side project, if you will. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel, pay your taxes and like the video, leave a comment down below, share the video. I would really appreciate that. And let's just get into today's video. So a lot has changed since my last video, which was, I think, a couple of weeks ago now. In that last video, I finished authentication using a pre-made component. So I was using Flutter Authentication UI, and that had all the baked-in authentication flows, registration, etc. But at the end of that video, you should check out the video if you haven't watched it, I talked a little bit about how I thought the next stage from then on was to work on UI things, right? Make things look nicer. My application, DanceBuddy, at that point had looked the same for a little while, for a couple months. So I wanted to update the UI, make it look nicer, make it more feel a lot more real. That's what I've been working on for the last few weeks. I've updated the UI, created a kind of theme for it, made it look a lot nicer in my opinion anyway. You might not agree, but in my opinion, made it look a lot nicer, addressed a few of the bugs that I had as well, and I'm getting to a stage now where I am almost or basically MVP ready. That's what I'll be showing you today, showing you a lot of the UI updates, a lot of the snack bars, error handling, those sort of things, and then talking about next steps. So now let's get into things. All right, so at this very moment, you can see my screen, blank screen. Haven't even loaded my application yet, and that's for good reason, right? And I'm gonna get this going. So whilst this is running and building the application and things, let's talk a little bit. So at this moment, my application or DanceBuddy is at a point where the UI is basically done. I've added a theme. I have added error handling for a lot of the different parts, and I have at this point, I think, gotten a lot of the MVP features ready and to a point where I'm happy with them, right? So back into this, the app is currently loading on the emulator. You saw a little kind of okay, this is fail, but nonetheless, what you can see here is DanceBuddy, right? I have updated the app icon, which ChatGPT helped me with, which was super helpful. Updated that to make it look cooler, nicer in my opinion. You can click on that and it will bring up the application, or it should anyway. Now we've got the sign-in screen. I've replaced the logo just with my own kind of DanceBuddy logo. This still needs to be changed because obviously wanted to blur into the background nicer. But anyway, that's the logo for now, but we'll work on that later. The home screen, the sign-in screen is all pretty much the same, the runners. Let's see. Let's reopen. Let's see what that does. Yeah, the sign-in screen is exactly the same. I haven't changed it. I talked about it in my last video, but for now, I'm happy with the sign-in screen as it is. But I will update it in the future. So now let's sign in and let's look at the app. You can see straight away, very different, right? The colors are different, the cards are different, the whole vibe and feel of the application is different. It's pretty much, in terms of the functionality, still the same. You have this floating action button that brings up the upload menu, still the same. You still have two tabs in terms of the profile and the actual home screen, but it's just the vibe and feel of the application of DanceBuddy that looks very different, right? The fonts are a bit different. We've got the video cards. Now you have folders are actual videos are denoted by this red. You have folders in kind of orange. How did I do all of this? So let's jump into the code, and we've got this theme, right? So after I had created most of my features, I got to a point where, okay, you know what? I want to update my theme. I want to update the UI, right? And you do this through themes in Flutter, generally speaking. So what I did is ask ChatGPT. I said, hey, Chatty, I have this application, DanceBuddy. It's going to be generally focused on hip hop dance and breakdancing. That's where I come. That's my background. That's what I want the application to be, and create like a appropriate theme for me. I like red, I like orange, use that and create a theme for me. And that's what it did. It spat out all of this code that essentially defines the theme of the application, right? The colors of the primary color, the secondary colors, the colors of the font and size of text, what font style we're using for the text, what we're doing in the app bar, what we're doing in the snack bars, etc., etc. So that ChatGPT created all of that for me, which is great. It's one of the amazing uses of generative AI. I think it can spit out a lot of code and boilerplate code for you very quickly. So the app looks different. It looks nicer, in my opinion anyway. We can click on one of these and it will load up the actual video in a second. Got this button here as well. Let's go back into the home screen. Going into one of the folders now, going to choreography, has choreographies at the top and any of the videos inside of choreographies, right? You need to remove this empty file because it's just a placeholder, but we'll get to that later. So that's the feel of the application. It looks a lot different. If I also show you the upload menu, it works in the same way. Clicking on the floating action button brings up this bottom sheet, but it just looks different, right? Again, we can pick a video and let's give it full access. Now, my pick video function, what it does now is it picks a video basically. I changed the image picker to pick a video rather than an image, right? Because the application is a video library. We don't want images. But unfortunately on the emulator, there's no videos. So what I'm going to do real quick is just change my pick video function so that instead of a video, I can just pick an image so that I can show you what that looks like. So let's do that. Let's run the application again and hopefully that updates in there. You can see in terms of the colors as well, I've got this bright kind of red as my primary color in the app. I just like it. I think it looks good. The buttons are still faded out if you don't pick anything. Whilst that is working, let's look at the menu, right? Same menu in terms of creating a folder, still very much looks, the feel is the same, but it's just fonts are different. So now the app has loaded. Bring that up and it's loading again. Lovely. So now let's try and upload something. We pick from gallery. As you just saw, I've changed my method. Instead of pick video, it's pick image. So I can actually find an image. We click on that. And now UI wise, I've added this little bit here, right? Looks quite cool. It tells you what the actual image or slash video is called. It gives you the size of the image and then gives you this X button. At the moment, this actually doesn't do anything, but it's something I will address after the MVP. You can then add a video title. So let's call this testing, or let's call this YouTube, because I'm doing this whilst I'm uploading this YouTube video. And let's upload. Oh, hello. It exited. Ah, right. Okay. So I have some other things in there. So the video compression, which is a feature I added, wouldn't work because it's not a video. So that's annoying. But anyways, that didn't actually change, right? What it does is uploads the video to Firebase and Firebase storage, and then you can see the video on the home screen, same as before. Another big change in terms of UI, let's actually go into creating a folder, right? Now, if I was to create a folder in here, let me cancel this real quick. Hello, messages. All right, cool. So we can create a folder. And in this root folder, I'm going to create a folder called choreo. No, I'm not. After that, I'm going to create a folder called choreographies. And I'm going to create that. And what does it do? It gives you an error message, right? Because we already have a folder called choreographies. Folder choreographies already exists here. So you can't create another folder called choreographies. That wouldn't make sense. So I've added this error message, and this kind of error message styling I've added, again, ChatGPT, fantastic job, mate. Asked it for like a nice error container styling, and it created this for me, which I quite like. So it's like an inline error message. Hey, dog, you can't do that. If you change it to something else, let's say choreography, we can do that quite happily, and it loads and creates the video. Here you can see the new style of the snack bar as well. It's like a reddish message, and we have created the choreography. Now going into choreography, if you have a folder now, let me delete this empty file, swipe, you get a like a message basically where you have to confirm, right? I like this because it means that the user has like another step before they can actually just delete something. So deleting a file, they have to be, are you sure, etc. It can't be undone. Let's delete that. Cool. Now when a folder is empty, this is what I'm showing to the user. No files found. Looks like you haven't uploaded any videos or folders yet. Here yet. Tap below to start uploading. Right, and then get this upload button. I removed the floating action button because I didn't see the point in having both upload and floating action, which do the same thing. Clicking on this brings up my upload menu. Right, and I quite like this. I think it's quite cool. Again, ChatGPT created this UI for me. Initially, let's go into my files, right? I had no files found, ... ChatGPT essentially created this class for me. Initially speaking, I only had one in here. I had this very simple placeholder, which was just returning a text widget that said no files found, right? Let's go quickly. There are no files. Can't type today. There we are. Right. I just had that, and this was all it was at the beginning. So if I just save this, anyways, I don't need to save it, but this is what I just had, just a text widget in the middle of the screen that no files found. I said to ChatGPT, hey, I've got this at the moment. Could you make it nicer, make it look cool, etc., in keeping with my theme of the colors I had, etc. And it spat out this class. So now I return this class, no files found, and it has all of this nice UI styling, etc. And I'm a big fan of this. I think it looks nice. Added the functionality of removing the floating action button and have the upload button here, and you can click on this and it brings everything up, and you can go through the normal functional flow. I think that's quite cool. Another thing that I have managed to work out, and I think in my last video I hadn't, is deleting a folder. So you can swipe and drop that. Actually, there you go. So you can move files into folders, but you can't move folders into files because that wouldn't make sense. So now please select the file as an item to drag and drop. Again, the snack bar comes up as an error message. And at this moment, you also can't move folders into other folders. Right, so please select a file as an item to drag and drop. What was the other thing? And the other error message is if you try and drag an item or a file into another file, it says please choose a folder as a target. Those are the two error messages. The reason you can't move a whole folder yet is just because I haven't had the time or the bandwidth to create the functionality for it, the code for it. It's a bit more complicated, so I've left it for the MVP, but that's going to come up later. Anyway, you can delete the whole folder now. You can, again, wrong, swipe and delete the folder. You get this confirmation dialog again, right? This will permanently delete the folder choreography and all its contents. Are you sure? Right, so the folder deleted and everything inside the folder is also deleted. And it does like a recursive deletion, right? Everything inside the folder gets deleted, and then the folder itself also gets deleted. So that's how that works. It works nicely now. Again, UI elements, I generally use ChatGPT to create them for me. Great use of it, and it helped me a lot and saved me a lot of time. So yeah, that's where we're at. Going up to the profile screen, looks exactly the same, no changes. But that is where we're at. Colors are done, UI looks nicer in my opinion, looks a lot cooler, looks a lot more done and ready to be used. I can't show you what it looks like on my actual physical device because I'm using it to record, but it looks okay, right? I'm quite happy with it. And now we're at a stage where I am testing it, user testing it, right? I initially put it onto my physical device, found a whole bunch of errors and bugs that were really annoying to deal with, and I fixed them. And then now I'm at a stage where those bugs are generally fixed. I am using ChatGPT, and I can show you that quickly as well. ChatGPT to kind of have a running checklist and tell me what points I still need to work on in terms of deployment, in terms of minimum features. But I'm at a point where I can show you this. In terms of minimum features, right? My MVP checklist, all of my functionality, I'm happy with so far. Not everything works. You can't rename folders, you can't rename files yet, you can't move whole folders. Right, so as I was saying, the app is not fully finished yet. There's certain functionalities that aren't working, such as you can't rename a folder or file yet, you can't move whole folders yet, and there's a couple of other things, right? But I'm pretty much happy with the functionality, and that's the main thing. In terms of MVP, I'm happy with the functionality. I've got a little checklist up from ChatGPT that is running me through the next steps to take. And those are essentially getting it ready for deployment to the App Store, to iOS App Store, and creating the logo. I need to still change the logo to make it nicer, basically. And a couple of other things. But I'm at a stage now where I think I'm going to, or what I have already, download the app onto my phone, right? Use it for a couple of weeks, go to dance classes, record some stuff, and see how I get on, and then find a couple of issues. I'm sure I will find a couple of issues. Already I found an issue in terms of uploading videos. It took an age to upload videos that were like longer than a minute or so. So I already optimized that uploading process. I compressed the videos and changed some of my functions to use more efficient functions to upload so the phone doesn't crash and those sort of things. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, gonna be using it for a couple of weeks and then shipping out to some of my friends that are dancers as well, to get them to potentially use the app and tell me what they think. And those are the next steps. If you've stuck with me so far, thank you for watching the video. As I said in the beginning of the video, please like. The goal is 5 likes on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you like this type of content. I'm going to be pumping out a lot more of this kind of content in the next coming weeks, and walking you through the process of putting my app on the App Store and those sort of things as well. Yeah, like the videos, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.